because the Orkney Islands were actually ruled by Norway for approximately 600 years, and we only became part of Scotland in the mid-15th century. Various legacy the Vikings and the Norsemen left behind evidence of their time here, and perhaps the greatest built heritage is our magnificent St Magnus Cathedral, which you can see here on the left hand side of the coach. St Magnus Cathedral sits in the heart of historic Kirkwall, built in the early 12th century in memory of a Norse earl called a beautiful cathedral built of local red and yellow sandstone, very much the heart of historic Kirkwall. And beside the cathedral you've got the Bishop's Palace, which is now a ruin, and it too was built in the early 12th century for the bishops of St Magnus Cathedral. Adjacent to it we've got another palace called the Earl's Palace, again a ruin, and it was built in the early 17th century by a Scottish earl called Earl Patrick Stewart, because by that time we were ruled by Scotland. So that's a little bit of our Norse heritage, and again, along with the St Magnus Cathedral, we've got evidence throughout the islands of Viking settlements who lived here in the past, the cattle in the other. But perhaps the most long-lived legacy is our place names. The majority of Orkney place names are Norse in origin. For example, Kirkwall, the name Kirkwall, it used to be Kirkjavagar, Norse for church in the bay, or church within the bay. For example, the farm that my family live is called Backakeldy, and Keldy Norse means a well or a spring, and at that time you would have built your farmsteading near a fresh source of water. So Backakeldy would mean at the back of a spring. So our place names, whether they be parish names, district names, farm names, and even surnames, are very much associated with our Norse history. Kirkwall itself is quite a small town, a busy little town. It is the main. Within Kirkwall we've got our local Orkney Islands Council, which is the main centre for administration for the islands of Orkney. It is the main shopping area for the islands. We still have quite a busy little main street with lots of independent shops selling some very fine produce that's produced here in Orkney. We've got one senior school here and two junior schools. We've got a very fine new hospital and healthcare complex recently being completed, all through the National Health Service. And so very much Kirkwall is really the centre of administration and the largest populated town within the islands.
Aber das finde ich süß, weißt du, diese kleinen, die Erkerle, ja, so als will ich auch haben. Das sind Eckmann, die Erkerle sind
Das ist ein Kollektiv.
Also das mag ich, aber ich mag das Material, das mit den Häusern gebaut sind, dieses Steinzeug, so gar kein Problem. Schau mal, wie alt das einfach aussieht.
Kirkwall also has 3 supermarkets just in the outskirts of the town, and we've also got a very fine leisure and healthcare centre. And within the leisure centre, it's well, you've got your indoor swimming pool, an indoor conference centre, and all different types of indoor sports, particularly in the winter time. And outside you've got athletic tracks, football pitches, rugby pitches, anything to do with sports. So lots going on here on our small island. You see the Scottish flag flying here, the blue flag on the right hand side, and you'll also see the Orkney flag. Occasionally it is very similar to the Norwegian flag, but it's got a yellow stripe, whereas the Norwegian flag will have a white stripe. Now we're leaving Kirkwall behind, and the one thing you'll notice is how green and fertile our islands are. This is partly due to our climate and partly due to our geology. Very fine, green, fertile land, and this of course lends itself to farming.
Der Osterhase war schon früher. Ich habe ernsthaft mit den Schafen.
Over many, many generations, farming has been the backbone of the Orkney economy. And why, as we drive along today, you will see an example of some excellent beef cattle. Because the main type of farming that goes on here is the rearing of high quality beef cattle. We also have a lot of sheep. There's a lady behind me and she's giving me a running commentary. So if I miss out anything, I'm quite sure you'll point it out to me. Yes, lots of sheep and cattle, and you'll see lots of sheep and cattle today. Probably more sheep and cattle than people. But we also have quite a number of dairy farms, and the milk that's produced here goes to our local cheese factory, and we make Orkney cheese, Orkney butter and delicious Orkney ice cream, all for the milk that's produced here on the islands.